Welcome to Life in the Library with your hosts, Cheyenne and Sam. Hey guys, I'm your host Sam, and I'm here with my co-host Cheyenne.
Hey.
We are so excited to start this podcast, but before we dive into all things libraries and books, we just want to take a minute to introduce ourselves. So I'm going to let Cheyenne go first.
Hey guys, as Sam already said, my name's Cheyenne. I am a 24-year-old stay-at-home wife, dog mom to 3 beautiful fur babies, a biblical studies student, and photographer. When I'm not being a homemaker, I love spending time at my local coffee shops, deep diving into my Bible, reading and capturing photos for family and church, and you'll more than likely always catch me with either a coffee or a camera in my hand. Sam, what about you?
Well, I'm a 23-year-old full-time executive assistant at Big Daddy Unlimited, which is an online firearms and accessories retail company. Outside of work and now this podcast, I enjoy learning new things that I say grow my Southern housewife resume.
So cute.
Some of these things are cooking or canning, or just having a more homestead lifestyle. When I'm not cooking or crafting or hanging out with a pup, I'm reading. And 95% of the time, the book that I'm reading comes from the library. I am definitely not the kind of girl to read a book more than once, so that's why I'm a huge fan of the library.
She can also, totally cold turkey a book with no regrets, you guys.
It's not that hard.
Yes, it is.
If I'm not into it, close it and go back.
Absolutely not. No.
But that's pretty much why I love the library. Because once you step inside, there's so many options. You can be murder mystery one week or a book on how to have a small farm in your backyard.
Get some chickens, you guys. That's Sam's biggest thing right now. She's been so
I want chickens
into,
so bad.
She just wants to be self-sustainable. Completely self-sustainable.
Listen.
If the zombie apocalypse comes, she's ready. She's so ready.
I'm not ready yet, but I would like to be ready.
You will be. Give it another year.
Touche. But whether it's murder mystery for you this week or farming the next, there is a book for you. And as you'll come to find out, I have a vast range in books.
Yeah.
So I'll cover them all for you.
And if she doesn't cover it, I will, because we are so different.
But I do remember as a child going to, the library over the summer, getting all those school-assigned books for reading.
Yeah, I missed the book fair. I wish there was an adult book fair.
There might be.
Is there really? We need to figure that out.
Or even just going over the summer with my nieces, doing those, early morning singing crafts things that they do for, little kids at the library.
Yeah.
I got dragged to a lot of those.
That's where it all started.
But they were a blast. They definitely were a blast. But where did your love for the library come from?
So my love for the library kind of started in middle school. Unfortunately, I'm a little kooky, and bullies don't really like that much. So the small library at my middle school became kind of like a safe haven for me. It was a room of just endless worlds to explore, characters that I could relate to, and definitely a place where bullies did not come, because in my middle school days, it was not cool to hang out in the library. But after I got my GED, I didn't really see the need for an escape through the library the way that I did in middle school. So I kind of stopped going. And it was actually Sam that brought me back into the library and made me realize how much I had been missing the world of books. It just showed me that books create stories that flow off pages into your mind that you can't get anywhere else. It's not the same with movies. Not to mention the endless amounts of knowledge that you can get from books on literally any subject, like you were saying earlier. It's so vast. You could literally pick up a book from World War II and then go read a book about unicorns and fairies. It's crazy. Sam, do you want to tell our new friends how the podcast came to be?
Yeah, sure. First, I just want to say you're welcome.
Thanks,
So I got that idea for the podcast one night. I was driving home while listening to a farming podcast. I know, shocking. And I texted Cheyenne, totally expecting her to shoot me down.
Dude, it was I don't even know, 8 o'clock at night, you guys.
And I texted her and I said, hey, I have an idea. That was it. That's all I said. And she was like, what? And I was just like, do you want to start a podcast? And here's where my doubt set in. I was waiting for the, you're insane. Why?
No, I was totally on board. I was like, yeah, give me your pitch.
So I did. And Then 4 hours later, Life in the Library was born. 4 hours later of
Brainstorming.
deliriously brainstorming till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I
think my husband actually went to bed before me that night. And that, like, never happens.
Yeah, that's true.
That's saying something.
What do you hope to get from our podcast?
So from the podcast, I kind of just want to show people that even though you and I are so vastly different personality-wise, and that we definitely don't always agree on things, we can still be best friends. And I hope that that opens the door for people to have conversations with others that they don't necessarily agree with, and still end the conversation on a decent note. I also definitely want to use the podcast as a platform to talk about topics that other people may shy away from and bring light to how much money you can save just from using a local free resource. I hope that through this podcast, people will fall back in love with the library the way that you helped me to.
Oh, well, again, you're welcome. I do hope that, like, as we continue with this podcast, not only do we grow, but share our love of the library with others and maybe get some of them back into the library.
Yeah, for sure.
But other than that, I am ready to hit on some controversial topics.
So let's go. Speaking of controversial topics, Starbucks versus Dunkin' Donuts, you guys. I don't even know if it was like Dunkin' Donuts tried to convert me into their cult today or something. Like,
We can't talk about cults yet. That's a couple episodes later.
It's coming. But I went to Starbucks to get a matcha, and they made my matcha wrong.
Hold on. I just need to say her fasting from coffee is monumental.
You guys, it's a big deal.
It is monumental. The fact that she hasn't broken yet.
Uh,
She almost broke.
I almost broke yesterday. I did. I told my husband, I was like, listen, I'm just going to drink coffee and then ask God's forgiveness later. I was like, I can't do that. That's so bad. Lord help him. He's been keeping me so accountable, and it's so annoying. But also, anyway, back to my matcha. So I watched this girl make my matcha in my Starbucks cup because Sam and I bring our own cups to Starbucks to cut down on her plastic issue.
Excuse me.
Sam cares a lot more about this stuff than I do, but I'm trying.
None of y'all can see, but I'm staring her down at the moment.
It is not staring, okay? It is like trying to kill me with her eyes. It's a whole different level. Anyway, so I'm watching this lady make my matcha, right? And I asked for extra matcha, so I got 5 scoops of matcha in my milk. And I'm watching her shake it up in the blender bottle. And she freaking shook it twice and poured it into my cup and then poured more milk on top. And I was looking in the shaker bottle, and there's like, you can't see me, but there's like 2 inches of matcha in the bottom of this blender bottle. And none of it went into my cup. So on the way, it's so sad. So on the way here, I went through the Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru, and I was like, hey, I have a weird request. And the girl was like, we get those a lot. What's up? And I'm like, can I just get like 2 scoops of matcha in a cup? And she's like, yeah, what size cup do you want? And I was like, oh, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to pour it into the matcha I already have. So I get to the window, and this manager is there with this girl. And he was like, so you went to Starbucks? And I was like, oh my God, here it comes.
Oh my God, I would have just drove off.
I was like, oh no, here it comes. I was trying not to be confrontational at freaking Starbucks. So I went to Dunkin', and I'm getting like in trouble by these Dunkin' people. So he's like, yeah, we'll give you matcha. And he hands me the cup. And I was like, they just made it wrong today. And he goes, well, you know they don't use dairy. He was like, well, you know they don't use dairy in their coffee flavorings. That's why we're better. And I was like, oh. And he showed me like this bottle of like concentrated liquid flavoring that's apparently like all artificial, doesn't have anything in it, and it's Starbucks flavoring. And then he showed me his, and it has like dairy and real caramel syrup. And I'm like, dang, he might have just actually converted me to his cult. All because of some stupid matcha.
Yeah, that stuff's gross to me to begin with, so
Oh, what?
I'll
That's
stick with my
sad.
homemade coffee.
That's sad.
Less plastic.
I'm using a metal cup. I'm trying.
Mm-hmm.
It's metal. Look, I'll even listen. Everybody listen. It's metal.
Oh my gosh. All right, well, I'm going to take the chance to stop Cheyenne
Literally, because I will ramble about this all day.
and wrap up our first episode.
Whoop whoop.
Thank you, Big Daddy Unlimited, for partnering with us on this podcast.
Until next time.
Bye.